Hello everybody and welcome back to another Brawlmachine video. Today we have Karchev 1 facing off against Jakes 2. We've got another Khador versus Cygnar here coming at you guys. It's been a while since we've seen Khador on the channel, and as I'll talk about a little more in my list overview, I had a list request, so I was like, alright, we're going to try this out. And Reed decided to bring Jakes 2, and it ended up being a really fun game. We both brought very Warjack heavy lists, so you got a lot of that heavy on heavy kind of true war machine, what it is at its core, which was super fun. So I'm going to stop rambling here and let you guys get into the video, but I hope you guys enjoy, and yeah, let's go. So, for my list today, I decided to bring Karchev the Terrible in Jaws of the Wolf. This was actually a viewer-requested caster and theme, so thank you for the suggestion. I don't remember your name right now, but I'll throw it up on the screen. This was actually a super fun list to play, and not something that I would have, planned on playing for a while, especially since I didn't actually own Karchev. I was borrowing Dean's model for this. But this was a super fun list, and honestly a really good game overall, so thank you so much for the suggestion, because I definitely want to play more of this theme. It was a lot of fun. Khador Jacks are a great time. So onto the list itself. Karchev 1 is an absolute beast. I mean, he's the man in the machine. He's got the damage grid of a Warjack. He's armor 19. Sure, he's only defense 12, but he's armor 19 with the damage grid of a Warjack. He's got a really good spray gun, actually, just kind of randomly sitting there on his card, as well as absurd melee output for even for a caster. He has the ability to give himself a speed buff, which kind of makes up for his otherwise very poor speed. He's repairable. He's unyielding. He's just an absolute beast, and then his spray also just casually knocks things down. You get into his spell list, he's got Battle Charge. Counter Charge is one of my favorite abilities just in general, so that was super cool to have. He's got a couple kind of blasty spells. Some of them give some little push effects, and the other one does just fire damage AoEs with hazards. And then he's got Jumpstart, which is situationally really useful, and Road to War, which helps him kind of move his army up the battlefield. His feat's nothing too fancy, plain and simple. He just gives boosted melee damage rolls and magical weapon type, which, nothing too complicated, but also super useful. Going into his battle group, I decided to go with kind of a classic trio. I brought the Juggernaut, which is just kind of a really good standard beat stick, and then I brought the Destroyer and the Decimator. The Decimator, I absolutely love this gun. 2 POW 15s. Rap 4 leaves a lot to be desired, but you can boost those, and then sustained attack once he gets into melee, which is just really nice. As for the Destroyer, this guy's got an AoE, so I could kind of clear out some infantry or something like that if I needed to, and he's also just got a really good melee as well. So overall, my Beast Brick was just, or Warjack Brick was just kind of 3 heavies, and can you deal with that? Going into the solos, I brought Yuri The Axe. He just seems like a really good solo. He's got Tree Walker, which is pretty nice, especially since the theme lets me place a forest. He's got Thresher for some more infantry clear if I need it. Stealth and Tough, just kind of good things to help him stay alive. And his output's quite decent with a POW 13 Weapon Master. With him, I brought a regular Manhunter as well, which is basically just a worse version of Yuri, but he does have 2 melee attacks. They're both POW 11 Weapon Masters. And then I also brought a Widowmaker Marksman. The Widowmaker Marksman is just a really useful model that gives leadership to Widowmakers, which I'm also bringing in this list. This guy's whole point was kind of just to chill on a flag and remove some other solos or infantry models. Going on, like I said, I brought the Widowmaker Scouts. These guys are just really good. Free damage, they're fairly accurate, they've got advanced deployment, they can just kind of chill wherever they need to be and take off whatever they need to take off from the table. And then lastly, to support that really heavy battle group there, I brought a minimum unit of battle mechanics just in case, because, it can never hurt to have at least 1 or 2 mechanics running around on the field. So that's my list. Thank you again for the suggestion. It was a super fun list, and without further ado, we'll get into Reed's list.
So I decided to bring Captain Allison Jakes. She's pretty fun. She gives her entire battle group sprint. She also has sprint herself. She's okay in melee, just POW 12s, but has Electro Leap on the one blade and Feedback on the other. And then she's got 2 POW 12 pistols, which can come up. For her spell, she's got Bullet Dodger, which is a really fun spell. It gives +2 defense and dodge to target friendly faction model. So it's nice to put that on something like the Hunter with defense 14 and then give him defense 16 and dodge just to make him irritating to remove. She has Escort, so Warjacks in the spellcaster battle group gain +2 movement when advancing as part of their normal movement. And if she's within 3 of them, she gets +2 armor. She has Lightning Storm, just a AoE 3 nuke. And then she's got Positive Charge. This is just nice to give some extra damage to the Jacks and accuracy. Gives them +2 to melee attack and damage rolls, and while within 3 of the affected Warjack, friendly faction models also get +2 on melee attack and melee damage rolls. So if you want to go for a bit of an infantry Jack mix, that can be pretty nice. And her feat says, while in control range, friendly faction models can gain immunity, electricity, and parry. And the affected models also get range 2 on their melee weapons and Electro Leap. So I find this nice in my list because I'm running pretty Jack heavy, so if I run into an infantry list, this feat gives me an answer for them. And on top of that, the parry can get them into pretty fun positions. I chose to bring Centurion as one of my Jacks. He's just a fantastic just hold the line Jack. He's got Shield Guard to eat bullets. He's got high armor with armor 19 and +2 from the shield, so he's armor 21. And then on top of that, he has the fantastic imprint ability Polarity Field, so this model can spend 1 focus to make it so he cannot be charged or slam power attacked by a model beginning the charge in the front arc. I then brought the Defender. He's just a really good range Jack. He's got a range 16, POW 15, which could be shield guarded, but it just hits really hard and the range is huge. And then he's also surprisingly decent in melee with a POW 17 melee weapon. And then I chose to bring Journeyman Caine. I just wanted to bring a lot of Jack Marshall in this list for fun, and on top of that to help Jakes with the focus problem she tends to have. So Caine's pretty good. He's got Fire for effect, so it boosts the attack and damage rolls of target friendly faction model's first range attack each activation. So this is an upkeep, so you can just put it on first turn on something like a Hunter, and each turn they just have this up. Then he's got Spirit Door, which allows him to teleport to a model in its battle group, or it can teleport back towards him. So this is just really nice for yo-yoing Jacks or him back after they're done activating. On top of that, he has Mage Lock pistols. Each one have different abilities. So he's Rat 7, so he's pretty accurate. But he can choose between getting Sniped for +4 range, Thunderbolt for battlefield control, or Trick Shot to remove solos or pesky models. In his battle group, I brought a Hunter. Good long-range Jack with a POW 6 armor-piercing weapon. That's about it. He's also got extended control range, so it's easier for Caine to keep him in there. I then brought a Journeyman Warcaster, another battle group controller. Nothing too special here. Generic Arcane Bolt, POW 12, range 12 hand cannon. But the main thing is he's got Arcane Shield, which gives +3 to a friendly faction model/unit. So I just really like planting this on the Centurion to make him armor 24 and just really obnoxious to remove. In his battle group, I brought a Firefly. This is, again, to just help with some infantry with his lightning generator shot so it can bounce between models. Other than that, it just gives the Journeyman something to be in charge of. I then brought a min unit of Field Mechaniks to heal up my Jacks. And I brought a Morrowan Battle Priest attached to them. Since I'm bringing so many battle group controllers, I wanted an additional instant of Shield Guard.
Khador, turn 1. Alright, so I won the role to go first, and my big thing here was I needed to respect all of his kind of anti-stealth stuff, so Trick Shot, Lightning Generator, that sort of thing. I didn't want to lose any of my stealth models, and I also just didn't want to lose too much of my infantry there. So I started out by just running Yuri and the Manhunter up to the wall there. My idea was they have stealth, and I was respecting his stealth threats. And then everything else, I'm just trying to chain to be more than 4 inches away from each other at all times. So I have the Marksman solo go on the flag, and I'm just kind of putting the rest of the unit in reasonable positions where they're still going to be relevant in the coming turns, but they're more than 4 inches away from each other, just in case he was able to get any shots into any of them. So once I've done that, now I'm figuring out what to do with Karchev and friends over there. And what I end up doing here is I have Karchev, I think he's the first one to go here, and he's going to throw up Road to War on himself. I had a little bit of a, do I do Road to War or Battle Charged here? Because I originally was going to try and do both, and then I was like, oh shoot, they're both upkeeps. So I end up doing Road to War, and because obviously Battle Charge I don't think will be very useful yet. He gives himself the speed boost, and we'll see me moving him actually up in a second here. And from there, the rest of my turn is going to be pretty straightforward. I'm pretty much just running everything up. Nothing's in range to actually do anything meaningful yet. So you see me move him there, and then from there, it's really just all the jacks are going to go, and the mechanics are going to follow. So just kind of straight line like that. And the mechanics, of course, they're faster than the jacks, so I kind of put them a little bit ahead for next turn.
Cygnar Turn 1. So right here, I see the Manhunters are moved up, and I want to make use of that, take them out. But they're in a bit of an irritating position, so I'm realizing the only way to really do that is to bounce trick shots and electro leaps off of my own model. So right here, you can see me running up the Hunter, since he's relatively expendable, just behind the house. And I'm planning on putting Bullet Dodger on him to help him possibly survive, if not just require more resources than is necessary to kill him. So here I'm looking at having Caine go now. I'm just working out focus allocation before I do that. But right here you can see him moving up. And I'm just working out how I want to do this. Or no, sorry, the Journeyman went first here, put up Arcane Shield. Now this is the Firefly going. So the Firefly is bouncing into the Manhunter. He hits the Hunter, bounces into just the one target, and it does a little bit of damage, about half health, I think. And no, sorry, it actually removes that one. And it does some chip into the Hunter. Then Caine's going to go, and trick shots, hitting into Yuri. This one just does a tiny bit of chip. It does like 2 damage or something like that. And then the next shot hits, but just does not crack armor at all. Then I'm going to have him repo, and then I'm going to have Jakes is going to end up going here. And she's just going to put up all of her spells and just move up slightly. Right now I'm just working out what to do with my other models. I'm looking at if the defender can get to anything, because he's got a really long range gun. But see, it's out of range, and I'm thinking he can drift something here. This is before I end up realizing that it's not an AoE weapon, which is somewhat unfortunate. But right here, you can just see me moving the Centurion before I do any of this, just to put up the polarity field while I'm thinking about it. And you can see us measuring the AoE. We roll deviation and everything. Look at his stat, then I'm like, oh, there's no AoE on it, so that's unfortunate. So instead, I just move him into the zone there. You might also notice that the Defender model is not actually a Defender, it's an Ironclad. I unfortunately do not have the proper model for it, so it's being proxied there. Yeah, right here I'm just taking back the movement because of the gunshot that did not work. Then I'm just moving my Mechaniks to stay near the jacks.
Khador, turn 2. So to start at the turn, I'm keeping Road to War up for now. I do plan to eventually drop it, but I'm just going to have this Widowmaker solo walk up to the wall and take a shot into the Journeyman Warcaster. I know he's going to shield guard it, but I'm going to just try and get that out of the way while I can. So I take a shot into the Journeyman Warcaster here, and I believe I hit the shot, and of course he shield guards it, which will just be an auto kill on his shield guard. I haven't rolled the dice yet, but spoiler alert, I hit. So there we go, roll the die, hit the shot. He decides he's going to shield guard it. I think he was debating just taking it, but he was like, nah, you could spike the damage. So I back up to the flag, and now I'm just having all of the other Widowmakers go, and they're all pretty much trying to do the same thing. One of them I'm pretty sure was just out of range, so I have 3 of them targeting the Journeyman and 1 of them targeting the Hunter. So the 3 into the Journeyman, I end up having 2 miss, and 1 of them hits and would do enough to kill, but he has the focus, so he eats all the damage to the focus. And then the one that shoots at the Hunter here just rolls there, and he misses, unfortunately, so he gets to dodge back a little bit, which is a little annoying, but not too big of a problem. I was a little disappointed, though, that I couldn't take the Journeyman off of the flag here. So now I'm just starting to move my Warjacks up here. Of course, this is going to be quite slow because even with Pathfinder, these are just slow Warjacks in general. That was our road to war there, though, so we're not there yet. I have Yuri go into the Hunter, and I think I end up leaving it alive, but I do a decent chunk of damage to it here, and I cripple the movement. So now I'm kind of thinking, okay, maybe I try to finish this Hunter off. I don't know why I was so fixated on removing it, because I knew it wasn't really a threat to anything I had on the board. But I have the Decimator here move up, and he's going to take a shot into it, and of course I Snake Eyes there. So I take my second shot, and then I think I got double 6s on that one, of course. So I end up doing a decent amount of damage, and it knocks him down and everything, so I end up going with the Batter, which just pushes him back a little. I get a little bit of a step forward, and now it's just moving my Jacks on up. I have the Destroyer, who's going to launch an AoE at the Hunter this time, hoping to maybe take it off the board and hopefully a couple Mechaniks with it. And I end up hitting, which is nice, and it auto kills the Hunter because it was left on like 1 or 2 boxes, and I just had enough with straight dice. And then it also happens to kill both of the Mechaniks. I end up boosting on one of them, and then the other one I roll for and actually get. So that's pretty nice. I managed to take out a few models there, and he Road to War triggers on himself, so I'll move him up in a second here. I was trying to respect the Centurion's threat, which in hindsight might have been a little bit of a mistake because it means I wasn't really putting myself in the zone. And I did end up moving him into Centurion threat anyways because I kind of didn't see a reason not to. And here I realized that I didn't actually activate the Juggernaut this turn. Lastly, Karchev was going to throw a Battle Charge and just kind of walk up.
Cygnar turn 2. So right here I'm working out what I want to do. I've got to eventually start presenting models, otherwise I'm just going to get chipped down by snipers. And I've got to also contest scenario. So I'm deciding what I want to commit here. And I'm going to figure out what I want to do first by just having Caine go, because that one's a bit easier for me. So first I'm just going to have the FIrefly go, and I think he's just going to end up going into Yuri, just seeing if I can remove him. I'm just doing this before Caine can move, just so if I need to commit Caine to Yuri, I can do that instead of having Caine move up and shoot Yuri. But now I'm having Caine go, and I'm going to try trick-shotting off of Karchev into the sniper. So I'm going for the solo here. I hit the first one, and it does about like 4 damage to it. Doesn't remove it, unfortunately, and then the second trick shot manages to kill. And both these trick shots do no damage to Karchev, which is not shocking. He's got super high armor, but that's fine. So now I'm working out what I want to do with the Centurion. I'm considering between putting up Polarity Field still, because I want to make it so some jacks can get into him and he could possibly live with armor buff up. And Polarity Field helps with that. But before going, I'm going to shoot the Defender, and he just completely whiffs the shot because the jack has concealment. And here I'm proxying out the Centurion's movement. And I'm just going to have it end up going up against the Destroyer. I put up Positive Charge, and it's got the +2 movement, but it is spending 1 for Polarity Field, so to make it harder to other jacks to get to it. And it ends up doing a bit of chip to the Juggernaut, nothing crazy. But it doesn't end up killing, which is the main thing, or crippling any important systems.
Khador Turn 3. Alright, so reads up 2 on scenario here, and I gotta be a little bit careful because of that. So when I first order of business here is I want to take out the flag camping journeyman here because I don't want to let him be scoring up on my turn. So I have all 4 Widowmakers here targeted this time. A couple of them are even aiming, and I end up having the first one do no damage, the second one hits and does 3 damage, and then the last one hits and would do 6 damage, and I think that's what we're figuring out here, but he spends 1 focus, reducing it down to 1, meaning I leave it alive on 1 box, which is a bit of a pain. Now I'm figuring out what Karchev's going to do, and I end up just having him spray the Centurion, try to knock it down, so I can actually charge the thing. Not that it really matters, and I wasn't even sure if that actually would prevent Polarity Field, so doesn't end up meaning anything because I missed anyways, and now I just have the Juggernaut walk in, and I just start taking smacks at this thing. I realize here that I probably should have feeded, just because this is a Centurion with a armor buff on it, but I just start swinging away at it anyways, and the Centurion hits the first attack, does something like 6 damage. The fist does nothing, and then I buy an axe attack and do something like 5 damage on that one. The Destroyer then goes to take a smack at it as well. It does pretty nice damage roll, does 7 damage here. I think that was the one that you just saw there. I buy another attack, and I end up doing no damage on this one that I'm about to roll here, which was a little disappointing, and that rough terrain moved way more than it should. I have the Mechaniks go here. I put one of them into the zone. I put 2 of them into the zone, actually, just for contesting reasons, and one of them repairs the Destroyer a little bit. So last I have the Decimator here, and I don't think I'm taking the Centurion out with just the Decimator, so I end up having him try to finish off that Journeyman Warcaster. He's low rat, but the Journeyman Warcaster isn't particularly high defense, and I can boost, so I'm needing 10s, and I end up missing both shots, unfortunately, which is a bit of a pain.
Cygnar Turn 3. So right here I'm up 2 on scenario. I realize it's not likely I'm going to win the attrition game. The Khador Jacks are just too tanky for me to take out. So I decide I need to win on scenario this turn. So right here, I'm working out how I want to remove the snipers from the circle zone. So my main resources for this are going to be Caine and the FIrefly, because I plan on just bouncing trick shots and electro leaps off them. So I'm just making sure not to get in countercharge as well, because that is up, and that would be very bad if my FIrefly got countercharged. So here I'm having the Centurion go. I'm trying to have him engage models, even though he's probably going to die from the free strikes, to make it easier for the FIrefly's movement. He does end up dying to the free strikes, which is okay. I then have the Defender move up before I forget to contest the zone, and then I'm going to have the FIrefly go, just respecting the counter charges and working out how I want to do this, making sure my movement is correct, and I'm going to be shooting the sniper up top there. I hit, I only get 1 bounce though, and it just auto kills both of them, which is pretty nice. Now I'm having Caine go. He moves into the rough area. Seeing what's in range of his range 10, the 1 model only is, but that's enough if I get the trick shot, which I boost and I end up hitting, and it kills both. So the zone's now free. I'm then going to repo him onto the flag, and I'm going to have Jakes go and kill my mechanic leader because he does not have enough movement to get to the zone, so my grunt can end up controlling it once he moves up there. I end up hitting the first one and pretty easily kills it. I'm just making sure I got the stats right. Then the mechanic walks into the zone, and I score up.
And there you have it. That has been Khador versus Cygnar, Karchev, Jaws. I hope I did the list justice. I hope that was kind of the right idea that you were going for when you suggested the list. It was super fun to play, and I made a few dumb mistakes that ended up costing me the game. Not remembering to activate my Juggernaut on that one turn where I just rode toward him. I could have had him in the zone, and that would have been really, really big. And then other things as well, like forgetting my feat. Neither of us ended up using our feat this game, but my feat probably would have allowed me to kill the Centurion, which means I wouldn't have been as many points down. And just a few other things like that. I should have been spreading out my guys more towards the end. So there was a few misplays on my part, but overall, really fun list. And I hope I can play more Jaws of the Wolf in the future, because this is just a really fun theme. Khador Jacks are just a lot of fun to play with. They're incredibly tanky. They hit like absolute trucks, and it's a good time. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, peace.